Have you ever gone to bed exhausted, slept, woken up, and somehow still felt tired? Not sleepy, tired. There is a difference. Sleepiness is when your body needs rest. But there is another kind of tiredness, a deeper tiredness, a tiredness that follows people into vacations, into weekends, into holidays, into new jobs, into new relationships, into New Year's. A tiredness that remains even after the body has technically rested. And if you have ever experienced that kind of exhaustion, you have probably asked yourself a frustrating question. Why am I still tired? I slept. I took a break. I stayed home. I rested. So why does it feel like something inside me never fully recovers? Most people assume tiredness is a sleep issue. Sometimes it is. But sometimes the body is not the only thing asking for rest. Sometimes your mind is tired. Sometimes your emotions are tired. Sometimes your nervous system is tired. Sometimes your life rhythms are tired. Sometimes your soul feels exhausted from carrying more than it was designed to carry for so long. And what makes this particularly difficult is that this kind of tiredness is often invisible. People can look successful and be exhausted. People can look strong and be exhausted. People can look productive and be exhausted. People can look fine and be exhausted, because exhaustion is not always loud. Sometimes it hides behind functioning. Some of the most exhausted people you know are still getting things done, still showing up, still meeting deadlines, still caring for everyone else, still carrying responsibilities, still smiling when necessary, still performing competence. And because they are functioning, nobody notices how tired they actually are. Sometimes not even them. They just assume this is normal. They assume adulthood is supposed to feel like this. They assume responsibility is supposed to feel like this. They assume success is supposed to feel like this. Until one day, they realize something feels off. Not broken, not depleted. As if they have been running on emergency reserves for far too long. I think one of the most overlooked forms of exhaustion in modern life is emotional fatigue. Not emotional drama, emotional fatigue. There's a difference. Emotional fatigue happens when life requires you to carry more emotional weight than you have had time to process. You are handling problems, managing expectations, supporting people, making decisions, navigating disappointments, absorbing stress, responding to situations, holding things together, and eventually the emotional load accumulates. Not because you are weak, because you are human. Imagine carrying a backpack. One book is manageable. 2 books are manageable. 5 books are manageable. But keep adding weight every day without ever removing anything. Eventually, the problem is not one book. The problem is accumulation. Many people are exhausted because nothing is being released. Every responsibility stays. Every worry stays. Every pressure stays. Every expectation stays. Every disappointment stays. And over time, the emotional backpack becomes heavier than they realize. Then they wonder why rest doesn't feel restorative. Because sleep can rest the body, but sleep does not automatically process emotional accumulation. Let's go deeper. Some people are tired because they have become responsible for everything, or at least they believe they have. They are the reliable one, the dependable one, the strong one. the one who figures things out, the one who carries everyone, the one who solves problems, the one who really asks for help. At first, this feels admirable. People trust them. People depend on them. People praise them. But eventually, something begins happening. Their identity becomes connected to carrying. And once carrying becomes identity, putting things down feels uncomfortable. Some people don't know how tired they are because they have forgotten what support feels like. They are accustomed to being support. They are accustomed to providing stability, providing solutions, providing care, providing strength. And somewhere along the way, they stopped asking an important question. Who is supporting me? Who is helping me carry this? Who knows what I am carrying? Who notices when I am struggling? Many people are living unsupported lives while appearing incredibly capable. And capability can be deceptive. A person can be competent and exhausted at the same time, strong and overwhelmed at the same time, responsible and depleted at the same time. These realities can exist together. Now, let's talk about another source of exhaustion, the nervous system. Without turning this into a medical conversation, think about what many people experience daily. Constant notifications, constant decisions, constant stimulation, constant urgency, constant information, constant problem solving, constant attention switching. The human system was not designed to remain in a state of perpetual alertness. Yet many people spend years there. Always on, always reachable, always available, always responding, always anticipating, always preparing for the next thing. Even when there is no immediate crisis, the body learns vigilance. Life becomes one long preparation for the next demand. And eventually, people forget what calm feels like. Not because calm disappeared, because constant activation became normal. One of the strangest things about chronic busyness is that stillness can begin feeling uncomfortable. Some people sit down to rest and immediately feel restless. Not because they don't need rest, because their system has adapted to motion. Silence feels unfamiliar. Stillness feels unfamiliar. Nothing happening feels unfamiliar. So even during rest, part of them remains activated, waiting, scanning, preparing, and then they wonder why they never feel fully restored. Let's talk about rhythms, because exhaustion is not always about how much you are doing. Sometimes it is about how you're living. Nature has rhythms: morning and evening, work and recovery, activity and restoration, input and processing. Breathing itself is rhythm. Inhale, exhale, expansion, release. Yet many modern lives are missing healthy rhythms. Everything becomes output. Produce, respond, perform, achieve, repeat. But where is recovery? Where is reflection? Where is decompression? Where is release? Where is the moment when the system gets permission to stop carrying? Many people are trying to sustain themselves through intensity when they actually need rhythm. Intensity can produce results. Rhythm produces sustainability. And sustainability matters because exhaustion is often less about a difficult day and more about a difficult pattern. A difficult day can be recovered from. A difficult pattern slowly drains life. Now, let's discuss something that many people never connect to their tiredness. Decision fatigue. Every day requires decisions. Big decisions, small decisions, work decisions, family decisions, financial decisions, emotional decisions, life decisions, and every decision consumes energy. The challenge is that modern life requires more decisions than most people realize. What to respond to, what to ignore, what to prioritize, what to postpone, what to buy, what to believe, what deserves attention, what deserves concern. The mental load keeps growing. Eventually, the mind becomes tired, not because it lacks intelligence, because it lacks margin. Many people are not overwhelmed by one major issue. They are overwhelmed by hundreds of tiny demands competing for mental space. One email, one bill, one conversation, one notification, one responsibility, one expectation. None of them seem overwhelming individually. Together, they create mental congestion. And congestion is exhausting. Now, I want to talk about something deeper. The tiredness that comes from carrying versions of yourself that no longer fits. This is difficult to explain until you have experienced it. Some people are exhausted because they are constantly performing, not acting, performing. Performing strength, performing success, performing happiness, performing sanctity, performing control, trying to maintain an image that no longer matches reality. That requires energy, a lot of energy, because authenticity is generally lighter than performance. When people spend years trying to maintain appearances, exhaustion often follows. Not because appearances are evil, because pretending requires effort, and effort accumulates. Now let's go even deeper. Some people are tired because they have not grieved, not necessarily death, loss opportunities, lost relationships, lost expectations, lost seasons, lost dreams. Life changes, people move, plans fail, chapters close, and many people immediately move on. They adapt, they continue, they survive. But survival is not the same thing as processing. Sometimes the body continues moving while the heart is still carrying unfinished weight. And unfinished emotional weight often feels like exhaustion. Not because something is wrong, because something needs acknowledgement. Many people are trying to move forward while carrying things they never paused long enough to feel. Now, here's something important. Not all tiredness is asking for sleep. Sometimes tiredness is asking for honesty. Honesty about what is no longer working. Honesty about what you are carrying. Honesty about what you need. Honesty about what you can no longer sustain. Honesty about the pace, the pressure, the expectations, the responsibilities, the habits, the patterns. Because awareness often comes before change. You cannot adjust what you refuse to notice. And many people have become so accustomed to exhaustion that they no longer notice it. They simply call it normal. But normal and healthy are not always the same thing. Just because something is common does not mean it is sustainable. Now, I am not suggesting that every responsibility disappears. Life requires responsibility. People depend on us. Work matters. Commitments matter. Responsibility is part of life. But responsibility without recovery eventually becomes depletion. Giving without replenishment becomes depletion. Supporting without support becomes depletion. Carrying without release becomes depletion. Even strong people need restoration, especially strong people, because strength does not eliminate human limits. It simply hides them longer. And eventually, limits make themselves known, not as punishment, as information. One of the most compassionate things a person can do is stop treating exhaustion as a character flaw. Many people secretly believe that being tired means they are failing, not disciplined enough, not productive enough, not resilient enough. But sometimes tiredness is not failure. Sometimes tiredness is feedback. Feedback that something needs attention. Feedback that something needs support. Feedback that a rhythm is missing. Feedback that the current way of living is demanding more than it is restoring. And feedback deserves listening, not judgment, listening. So if you have been asking yourself why you are still tired, perhaps the better question is not why am I tired? Perhaps the better question is, what kind of tired am I? Am I physically tired? Emotionally tired? Mentally tired? Relationally tired? Decision tired? Responsibility tired? Performance tired? Rhythm tired? Because different forms of exhaustion require different forms of restoration. And restoration is not always sleep. Sometimes restoration is support. Sometimes restoration is boundaries. Sometimes restoration is honesty. Sometimes restoration is slowing down. Sometimes restoration is grieving. Sometimes restoration is connection. Sometimes restoration is simply admitting, I have been carrying more than I realized. That admission is not weakness. It is awareness. And awareness is where change begins. Before we finish, I want to leave you with a simple reflection. Instead of asking yourself tonight, what still needs to be done? Ask something different. What am I carrying that I have not acknowledged? Sit with the answer. Don't rush it. Because hidden burdens are often heavier than visible ones. And sometimes the tiredness sleep cannot fix. It's not asking for more sleep. It is asking for a different way of living, a different rhythm, a different relationship with responsibility, a different relationship with yourself, a return to something many people have forgotten, that human beings were designed not only to produce, but also to recover, not only to carry, but also to release, not only to give, but also to be supported. And perhaps your tiredness is not a sign that you are failing. Perhaps it is simply an invitation to listen to what your life has been trying to tell you all along. See you soon.